Well, good evening and welcome to Let's Talk About It. Today is Thursday, December the 10th, 2020. Trust that you have had a wonderful day, exciting week. You and your family are well. We ask that you would reach out to your friends, families, co-workers, and others, invite them to share with us on this broadcast on this evening. Tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Republicans and their signing on and joining in with Dr. or President Trump in his bid to try to overturn the election. As to date, over 35, nearly 40 lawsuits that have been filed are null and void, have been either thrown out, dropped, or dismissed due to a lack of evidence. If that's not enough, he continues to make allegations that the election is invalid. And so tonight we're going to talk about that. And the reason we're going to come back with it tonight is because it's increasingly getting challenging, especially since just the other day, all 50 states, to include, in addition to Washington, D.C., have all certified their election numbers. And on next week, each state is due to give their tally with the Electoral College. And so this is what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to get the court, the Supreme Court now. He's going all the way to the Supreme Court to try to get them to throw the election out and allow the governors of those various states to give their Electoral College numbers to whomever they decide. So reach out to others. If you're with us on Facebook, like and share, comment so that we can see your comments. If you're on the YouTube, we trust that you have hit the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. That way, every time we come on, you will be notified. So we're glad to have you with us this evening. Sit back, relax, enjoy yourself as we talk about another topic of interest. So let's talk about it. Well, good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am your host, Reverend Edward N. Mason Jr. We are so glad to have you sharing with us this evening on this another Thursday. We know that life is moving on, and good news is, according to some, that this evening the virus vaccine has been unanimously uh, uh, the hearing or uh, the persons that were doing the panel have agreed. All of them, with the exception of 4, voted against it, and 1 voted to abstain. Voted on the approving the vaccine under emergency conditions. We're certainly glad to have our co-host sharing with us, Dr. Davis. Dr. Davis, welcome to another Let's Talk About It edition.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be with you on another Thursday evening. And once again, things are moving right along. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't know what we're going to do with number 45, boy. He's a pistol boy, I'm telling you. But it is what it is, as he says. It is what it is.
Yes, well, I guess before we jump into that, I guess by now you heard that the vaccine emergency use authorization has been has not been approved yet, but the panel of advisors have voted to give their recommendation that it be approved. And so, from my understanding from the reports, the CDC or the FDA, they will get together over the next couple of days, and certainly they're saying by Sunday that they're hoping to have voted and made it agree
Right,
to issue the emergency use authorization.
right,
And they're saying that all of the things that are needed, all of the parameters, they've got FedEx and UPS on standby, planes, trains, and buses, and all of those things have been put aside and are waiting to transmit these vaccines
right.
around the country. What you say about that, Dr. Davis?
Well, I've heard the same thing that you heard, and the FedEx and the UPS. The FedEx, I think, is on the West Coast, and the UPS is going to be working on the East Coast, and they're going to try to get these vaccines out as soon as they get the okay or as soon as they get the approval. Once again, they're trying to make sure that the first responders get it first, which means that the doctors and the nurses, the paramedics, and all of those folk, they're trying to make sure they get it first because they're exposed to the most of the virus cases, which is in the hospital. So um, once again, you know, I think they're rushing it, what they call warp speed and all this kind of stuff. But I just hope they're not making a mistake in what they're doing with this vaccine.
Well, certainly, one thing that is for sure, the the cases are going up and have been steadily going up. I know last week they were saying one person was dying every 30 seconds. There was 2 people dying a minute. Then a few days later, it continued to escalate to. Then they said 2 people. I mean, one person was dying uh, more than in 1 minute. So it went from one person dying a minute to 2 people dying a minute. And now earlier today, I heard that more than 32 people were dying in a minute. More than 32 people dying in a minute. Think about that. More than 32 people dying in a minute. More than 32 people dying in a minute. In fact, it's so bad that I believe the state, I think it was in Reno, where they took a whole floor, Dr. Davis, in the parking garage, a whole level in a parking garage,
Right.
cleaned it up and turned it into a hospital room for COVID-19 patients. Now think about what I just said. A
Right.
parking garage where people
Right.
normally park their cars. The whole level
Right.
has been cleaned, sanitized, partitioned off, and transformed into a hospital room floor. A parking garage
Right. Yep.
has patients in it.
Yep.
I saw they have a husband and wife team, husband and wife on that floor, on that parking garage makeshift hospital room that are just a couple beds apart, both of them with COVID-19.
Right. Right. Well, that's how bad it is. It's unbelievable how bad it is, and they still dealing with the same thing that New York was dealing with. I think it's Texas now. They putting bodies in freezers and in tractor trailers, and because people are dying so quick, they can't they can't deal with it with so much. And then I heard that they had nurses. Some of the nurses were getting upset, crying because people were coming in and people were dying, and it seemed like there was nothing they could do. They were trying all they could to try to maintain the lives of the people that were there, but people were coming in and they found out people were dying on their shifts, and it was just overwhelming for them. They just couldn't take it. And some of them said they just needed a break. They just needed some relief because they can't take it the way the people are coming in and the people are dying.
Well, they interviewed one of the doctors, I forget what hospital it was, where he had been sleeping in his office. It was over 200 and some days that he's had a day off. And he's been sleeping in his office just so that he could be available to assist because of so many patients and so many that were in need of medical attention. And so there are people that are fighting and challenging and defying the wearing of the mask and the social distancing, even to the point where right here in Baltimore, they are instituting going back to shutting down certain businesses and gatherings and that sort of thing. They have a couple of restaurants where they have cited and fined for violating the rule. They are now, they swore in the new mayor, Brandon Scott, on yesterday, I believe it was. The new mayor, was it yesterday or was it Tuesday? The new mayor, and then right after that, yesterday, he announced the shutdown of the restaurants. No longer can the restaurants, that's going to take effect, I think, on tomorrow at 5 o'clock on Friday. Restaurants will not be able to have indoor or outdoor dining. They will only be allowed to have carry out and or drive through. Before, they were limiting the indoor dining and was allowing them to have outdoor dining. But now they're shutting down indoor and outdoor dining in restaurants, limiting gatherings of no more than 10 people. And I even saw a report where they are encouraging residents to call the police, even if your neighbors are having gatherings of more than 10 people. This is how serious it has become. And so the downside, or one of the bad sides about it, is many restaurants that have been fighting, trying to stay afloat, are finding themselves really at the door of having to close. There's already been several restaurants that I know of that are closed. and will not open back up again. Uh, Churches have been reduced to 25% occupancy, and the list goes on. It's uh, it's sad, Dr. Davis. It's sad.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And seems like there's no end in sight. You know, I'm listening to what you're saying, what's going on in Baltimore and up here in PA. They're talking about limiting um, large gatherings, such as up here they usually have what they call like harvest festivals and stuff like that. And so right now they're talking about limiting that. They're talking about um, limiting space in restaurants and what have you, because once again, it's so critical that um, the governor said he don't want to go back to the way that things were when they shut everything down. But if he have to, and people is not taking heed to wearing the mask, and it's steady spiking, then he will have to do what he have to do to save the people, to save the remaining of the people that's still alive. Because once again, it's not the virus is not going down, but it's spiking up. Just like Dr. Fauci said it would, and he said it's going to be rough in December, January, and February. So the thing he said is going to happen, it seems like it's happening.
Well, they're even now saying that we're starting to see the beginning results from people that traveled over the Thanksgiving holiday. They asked folk not to travel. However, many folk did travel, and they're starting to see the results from that. And they're saying that by the time the results from that fully come in, then we'll be hitting the Christmas season,
Right.
the Hanukkah season, and they're saying it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and many more people are going to lose their lives. And
Yeah.
so I am encouraging all of our listeners, our viewing audience, to please take a moment, think about the safety of you and your family, your children, your grandchildren. Think about it. Think about the safety of it. If you love your loved ones, do what is necessary and stay out of large gatherings. The only time that I go into large gatherings is when it's absolutely positively necessary. Outside of that, I do not go into gatherings. I do not go out. I do not venture around. Much of my schedule has been altered. It's been altered. And so
Yeah.
I'm trying to remain safe, trying to keep other people safe, because
Yeah.
that is what is being recommended, and that is the wise thing to do.
Yeah. I'm doing the same thing. Um, like I mentioned earlier to you, people dying, man, and I've already told some of the people that I'm coming to the viewing, but I'm not going to come to the funeral. I'm going to go to the viewing and then the day before, but I'm not going to come to the funeral. It's just too much at this time. And I'm one who have pre-existing illnesses. And once again, I'm not going out except for the view the bodies and to come on out. I'm not going to the services. As you know, we had one the other week, and I think that'll be the last one. I think for me for a while, I believe, because I just can't do it right now, and it's just too much. It's just too much.
Well, let's get to our topic tonight. Number 45 is pushing the envelope as far as he can push it. As you know, Texas has filed a motion to have the election results overturned. The Attorney General in Texas has they filed a motion, Dr. Davis, in court uh, to try to get the election results thrown out, and because they're saying that it was not right. That's what they're saying. Not only has Texas filed a motion, but they filed a motion, Dr. Davis, for the most part claiming uh, initially four states. Those states that they're claiming were Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. That's what they're filing, and then to make matters worse, now uh, um, as a result of that, and the president putting his as they say putting his thumb on the scale,
Right.
has started to use his influence and has called other states' attorneys, um, uh, attorney generals, I'm sorry, uh, to the White House, and has basically put pressure on them to support their effort. So as a result of that, now you have 17 other states have joined in and signed on to the lawsuit. Well, that was yesterday. To make matters worse, Dr. Davis, now today you've got 106 of the members of the House of Representatives have now signed on to that, to try to push the Supreme Court
That's right.
to overturn. They want them now to throw out the entire election results.
Right.
They want them to throw out the entire. Now, mind you, all, just about all, with the exception of maybe one, maybe two situations, but over 35, nearly 40 cases that the Trump campaign has filed in the court with their leading attorney, Giuliani, and their other legal counsel. All of those cases, uh, for the most part, have been either dismissed, dropped, or thrown out due to a lack of evidence. And so now they are pushing the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
They took it to the the state Supreme Court, and they wouldn't be bothered with that hearing. They wasn't wasting their time with that. Said
That's
it
right.
had no merits, it had no validation. And so, as a result of that, now his team wants to push it all the way to the Supreme Court. Now, mind you, in those states where, like Georgia, where they had requested a recount and another recount, the Trump campaign, every time they insist on recounts, they cost
Absolutely.
millions of dollars that they have to pay for these irradical, unsubstantiated, forced recounts. And my question to you, Dr. Davis, is what are the Republicans thinking? How is it that one man has so many people afraid of him that they are willing to risk their careers, their reputations, to try to follow him and back up whatever he says, even though they themselves know that it's not right?
Well, they for one thing, what they're trying to do, they're trying to make a disgrace of our democracy. That's the first thing, because we done had an election. We had a honest and fair election, but now they're trying to make a mockery of the democracy that we live in. And they want to push this thing to the Supreme Court, wasting money because it has to be paid. Somebody has to be paid to go and do this over and over again. The courts have already dismissed it. And I believe it was like 3 of the different courts that Donald Trump had appointed one of his judges, and they went against them. They told him, no, what has happened is the Constitution states what needs to be done. Everything was done constitutionally right. So as a judge, I can't go along with injustice just to please one man. And so they're trying to make a mockery of our democracy, what they're trying to do. And then they try to make Biden's work hard because once again, he went to the Democratic Party. He's trying to get relief funds for these people who are out of work. He's trying to get money for them and trying to get them to pass another stimulus check. And you know what? Mitch McConnell said.
What did he say?
He said, "Well, let's give them $500 to $600." Now these people are losing their houses. They're losing what they have, and he's talking about $500 or $600. What's $500 or $600 when you already in debt 3, 4, and 5 and 6 months behind, and people are being put out and everything? It's just
he hasn't missed a check.
Exactly.
Not only has he not missed a check, but he has become a millionaire since he's been in office. He has millions of dollars off of being in office, and he is not concerned about the little people or the middle people. He's not concerned. He's not concerned at all.
That's right. That's right.
So they are dragging their feet. They can't find time, and although they are currently working, according to one report today, they are working on trying to come up with an agreement on a stimulus check before the Christmas holiday or before the end of the year. One of the things that they were able to pass on yesterday was to not allow the government to shut down because they were supposed to shut down before the end of the year if they didn't have the funding or the budget or whatever. So they were able to pass an extension on that. But in the meantime, they were supposed to be working on a stimulus package. From what I heard, was supposed to be between $600 and $1,200. But like you said, you're right here at the holiday time. Many people have already lost their jobs. Many people have been evicted. They've showed the food lines. I'm not talking about the supermarket food lying. I'm talking about the lines where people are in to get food. They showed today a racetrack. That has set up lines, and they got lines, so many lines of cars, people coming to get food because folk just don't have the resources. And we've got leaders in our government that were voted in, Dr. Davis, that's supposed to look out for their constituents, look out for their people that voted them in to represent them. And I want to know what kind of heart do these individuals have when they are not concerned about the suffering and the needs of the people in that? How can they go back, leave Washington and go back to their districts and face people that voted them in, knowing that they have not done what they could have done to help people? Do you know, Dr. Davis, that the suicide rate has gone up?
Yes, sir.
Are you not aware that the drug addiction and substance abuse rate has gone up? Do
Yes,
you
sir.
not know that as a result of them declaring, now listen to this, declaring liquor stores as an essential business, when they shut all the other businesses down, they liquor stores are allowed to stay open. Why is that? So that people can buy liquor to try
Yep.
to drown their sorrows and drown their depression. It- it's sad. It's sad, Doctor
It,
Davis.
it is sad, and that's what's going on. They said that the rate of depression of people here in America is unbelievable. And people are at the point of suicide because, once again, some people feel they can't take care of their families, they can't supply for their families, and whereby you had both parents working, and now one parent is working, and that's not enough money to bring in to maintain the bills that they have in the house. And once again, it's the suicidal rate is going up. People are depressed, and yet they go to the liquor store because, once again, they're trying to drown their sorrows, not realizing once that hangover is over, everything is still there. The bills are still there, the headaches are still there, the suffering is still there, and what have you. When they need to take that money, whatever money it is, and make sure they got food in the house for their children, at least they can do that without trying to drown their drown themselves in alcohol. But once again, the alcohol stores are open and they're shutting down the restaurants, but they're leaving the alcohol stores, the liquor stores open. And don't make sense to me.
They're classified as essential businesses, Doctor Davis.
It, it's what?
They're classifying them as essential businesses
Is it a drugstore? Is
of
it a
some.
pharmaceutical?
It's a liquor. It's a liquid drug store.
But it's not a pharmacy. What I'm saying,
Well, it has pharmacy like attributes. A pharmacy has a variety of medications and drugs.
oh,
A liquor store has a variety of mind altering substances.
okay,
So it's like a drugstore.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, here is the thing, they cannot force people and push people to stay in and not give them something to help calm them down. The other thing that we have not talked about is the incline of domestic violence, child abuse.
yep,
And the danger is when by schools being closed, nobody is getting the opportunity to see these children that are being abused.
right,
Schools were open and a child was abused and they came to school, it was likely that the teacher would see marks or see something on the kid and begin to ask questions and then would report it. But by
yep,
schools being closed, nobody's seeing it. Things are being done and not being caught. Dr. Davis, so we have a pandemic that's killing people. We have
yep,
economy that's being killed. We have our children not being able to go to school, not being able to go out and socialize and to work on their cognizant skills and their motor skills. You have families that are not able to get together like they used to over the holidays and things like that. And so all of these things coupled together is a recipe for disaster.
exactly.
We have our legislative leaders bickering back and forth amongst themselves, trying to appease a person that's in the White House because he just can't come to grips with the fact that he is not as popular as he thought he was. And
Exactly.
lost, he lost an election.
Yes.
And then you have the individuals in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and those other guys that are back. They refuse to even call Vice President or presidential elect Biden. They refuse to call him president elect.
Yeah.
Even after all 50 states and District of Columbia all certified their election numbers this week that Biden won. And they still will not. Well, for a long time they wouldn't even give him the transitional team and space and funds for his transition team. So finally that happened. And then they still weren't getting the briefings, the security briefings that they were supposed to get. That took a little while to happen. And so, like you said before, they're doing everything that they can. They know they can't stop him, but they're
Right.
trying to muddy the waters and do everything they can to make his presidential time in office appear to be illegitimate.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
this runoff that they have between these two Senate seats in Georgia, if the Democrats don't get both of those seats, we are going to have another situation that will be
Yeah.
worse than what it was when Obama was in. And the Senate wouldn't approve anything, wouldn't do anything for him. It's going to be worse. I mean,
Yes, sir.
it's going to be worse, and we just may as well get ready and buckle down because we've got some difficult days ahead, Dr. Davis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I even heard these Trump supporters. I heard them say that yes, if we need to fight, if we need to go to war, if we need to, we will fight till the very end. Because once again, um, America or Biden stole the election. That's what they believe. And they're willing to go and die for this man who keeps lying to them that that he can't believe he lost the election and Biden stole the election. But once again, I'll say it once again. A wise man once told me, numbers don't lie. And I said again, because he kept telling me when we were working at the stadium, the numbers, hey, Davis, the numbers don't lie. I said, okay, go back and check it again. And he was right. The numbers don't lie. And this is what Donald Trump can't get in his head. He thought for sure he was going to win. And so many black folk was voting for him because they got a $1,200 check. And he signed some of those checks. And they were excited to put him back in office. So now that he didn't get back in office, Mitch McConnell and all of those Republicans are doing everything they can to slow down the process, to try to mess up Joe Biden and Joe Biden, president-elect. They're trying to mess up Madam Kamala Harris, vice president-elect. They're doing everything they can in their power to try to deteriorate or to try to mess up whatever they can or tear down whatever they can so that Biden will have a hard way to go. And they already starting to talk about they're not going to confirm none of his appointees. Already got 106 Republicans already talking about, yes, we need to push this to the limit. I mean, to me, it's just crazy. And people are dying in this pandemic. People are out of jobs. People need work. And what are they doing? Wasting taxpayers' money because they want to push it to the Supreme Court, hoping that they could turn it around, hoping that they could turn or go against the Constitution, because that's what they want to do. They want to go against the Constitution.
Well, they're trying to figure a way around, like you said, the Constitution.
Right.
And I think I met that wise person that you talked about.
I'm sure you have.
I think I heard him say, "Liars figure, but figures don't lie."
That's it. Yep.
They're
That's right.
trying to figure a way to bring him on top of this election.
Yep.
They're trying to figure a way around it.
Yeah.
But the figures from the tally of the election votes
That's right.
don't
And see
lie.
what they're trying to do is they're trying to get these people to sign off on these voting with these governors and different ones, or the attorney generals and of each state. They're trying to get them to sign off, at least let Trump come close to it. See, because if it comes close, then they say, okay, yeah, we got a tie. We got to do the whole thing over again, or take it to the Supreme Court and let them do it. But see, once again, the figures don't lie. He only got 71, and Biden got what, 80 plus electoral votes. So this is the whole thing. He's trying to push it some way or the other to try to get back in there, and I'm praying that it don't happen.
Well, my question is, where are the grassroots organizations, the civil rights organizations? Where are those organizations at when they could pull and list these individuals that want to perpetuate lies, that want to perpetuate the false leadings, that want to perpetuate the untruths about the election? Where are these organizations that says, okay, all of you all that want to go along with this, y'all want to try to portray this, y'all want to back him in his wrongdoing, we're going to keep your names in front of the constituents that you serve, and come election time, we're going to see to it if the people that put you in think that you deserve another term. See, they need to start talking about that now. If you don't have the guts and the stamina and the fortitude to stand up for what's right now, in the midst of this, stand up when we need you to stand up. If you don't have the decency to vote and fight for us when we sent you there to represent us, but yet you rather fight for somebody that you know is not telling the truth, that you know don't stand a chance to overturn anything, that you know don't stand a chance to win, if you rather side with him than for what is right, we need you to know this is your last term in office. Where are these organizations at that should be running those kind of ads right now?
Well,
And see,
see,
if you siding with Trump, we're going to remember you come election day.
well, see what's happening with these 106 Republicans who are standing with Trump. I understand today they said one of the lawyers and one of the people that President-elect Joe Biden is looking at for the Attorney General. One of the things that he says today is, once again, Trump is breaking the law. All these people who standing up for the lies that this man is telling, is breaking the law, and they have to be dealt with according to the law. They can't get away with this. So some of these people are going to wind up either in jail because they're breaking the law and they're making a mockery of the Constitution and our democratic system.
Well, Dr. Davis, they're probably not worrying about that because there's a lot of talk floating around about pardons, presidential pardons, and presidential pardons. There's a lot of talk that the president got a whole lot of pardons that he's gonna roll out before he roll out. He's talking about pardoning his family, pardoning Giuliani, even pardoning himself. In fact, the AG in Texas that filed the court petition, he himself is under indictment for some type of embezzlement or tax evasion or securities, some kind of crime or something that he has already been indicted for. And they're saying that he's pushing hard for Trump because he's hoping that he can get a presidential pardon for. That's what they're saying.
Well, he can pardon them for some things, but when it comes to state affairs, he can't pardon them for state affairs. Federal offenses, yes, but I understand he can't pardon them for everything.
That's right. That's right. That's why the Attorney General in New York says she's not worried about the pardons that he's issuing because those pardons don't affect what she's doing in the state of New York. And Sister Wiley, you're right. You say you feel bad for the American voters because those people don't think that the American voters know what they are doing. And you are absolutely right. Some people feel as if, they don't think that we knew when we voted for Biden. They don't think that we knew what we were doing. And so they feel that they can do whatever they want to do because they are in control. And that's why it's always a danger to give power to someone or some group or some organization that can't handle the power. Because then what happens is they abuse the power and misuse the power. And then those who they are misusing it and abusing it against are the ones that wind up being hurt because we begin to be oppressed, begin to be put down, begin to be ostracized. And it's just like right now. They had the power a long time ago to issue stimulus checks, a financial relief for businesses, a financial relief for families and for mortgages and all of that kind of stuff. They had the power to do that. Not only would they have helped those individuals and helped those businesses, but they would have done a service for the economy. They would have done a service for the economy. The economy would not have gone down as low as it has if there was resources being funneled in to help those persons who were in need. We have got to think about that. But we have got to hold these individuals accountable. I will have, at some point, I will have a list of all of those persons whose names they are, what states they represent, and we're going to put it up on the screen. We're going to put it up on the screen. We're going to constantly keep folk reminded of these were the individuals that did not care about you. They cared about themselves and their own interests. And so when it came time for them to vote to help save your job, to vote to help save your apartment, to save your mortgage, your house, your home, and to help deal with kids that were struggling in school, instead of doing that, they chose to stand and to fight for a president that was not doing what he was supposed to do, not even as it related to the epidemic, the health crisis that this nation is facing, and it is as bad as it is today, because he decided he did not want the people to panic. Well, here is the question. Over 250 million people, over 250,000 people, I'm sorry, over 250,000 people have died and lost their lives. Ask those people, would it have mattered if they panicked? Ask those people. And many of those people were not even given the opportunity of closure with their families, weren't even given the opportunity to have somebody standing by their bedside when they took their last breath. Many of them were not given the opportunity to have a loved one kiss them on their forehead and tell them goodbye. Many of them individuals did not have loved ones around their bed singing Christian songs or reading scriptures, or giving them their final goodbyes and telling them that they were loved and telling them that they're going to miss. Many of those individuals did not have the opportunity. And in fact, some of those families, even after they passed away, the funeral home and the mortuaries took the bodies and buried the bodies, and in some cases cremated the bodies, and family members never even got to see them, even in their final moments. Never even got to see them.
Well, that's why this attorney
playing games and playing tricks.
Well, that's why this attorney, he says that once again, Trump has to be held accountable for the 250,000 lives that have died that could have been prevented had he done what he was supposed to do. Because once again, that's derelict of duty. He's the chief and commander, the commander-in-chief, and yet he did not act. Now, once again, as I look at it, did the people panic when Japan came in and bombed Pearl Harbor? No, they pulled together. They pulled together to get things done. That's what they did. Did they panic when 9/11? No, they pulled together to get things done. Once again, this man doesn't understand the value of unity and leadership. He don't even understand it. That's why he wants to do everything without consulting nobody. And he just wants to do stuff without coming to the understanding. It takes everybody to work together to get things done. But once again, he's got to be held accountable. Not only him, but all of those people that's going along with the lies that he have told, they too must be held accountable because they know it's a lie. And yet they keep telling the lie over and over again, wanting people to believe the lie. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad that here it is now, what, a whole month and some days since the election, and we still dealing with this nonsense. I mean, it's sad.
Well, Dr. Davis, I don't disagree with you too often, but I've got to disagree with you on one point. You say that he doesn't bring people together, and the fact of the matter is, he is bringing people together. It's just not for the right reason. He's got meetings he's having at the White House with people trying to support his efforts. They are having Christmas parties in the White House. He's bringing people together, Dr. Davis, but it's not for the correct reason. So I was being facetious when I said that I couldn't agree with you. But listen, the taxpayers are paying. And all of those meetings and stuff that he's brought people together have wind up being what? Super spreaders.
Yeah.
So they've got people in the White House having Christmas parties, and even his own CDC says, do not go to no holiday parties. Do not go to no mass gatherings. And he's having hundreds of people gather for the purpose of a party and a celebration. That's what he's doing at the
Yeah.
taxpayer's expense. And many of those people will find themselves contracting the coronavirus. I mean, even his own attorney, Giuliani, came down with the virus. And
Yeah.
and Trump signed off so that he could get one of the experimental drugs
Yeah.
when other people can't get it.
Yeah.
And Giuliani said he guessed being a celebrity has advantages and privileges.
Right.
How do you
But I
say that?
noticed he didn't sign off for Chris Christie. I noticed he didn't sign off for Chris Christie.
Well, he wasn't higher up on the chain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't higher up on the chain, Dr. Davis.
All right.
The bottom line is we need to hold those individuals accountable that are in what we call enablers.
Yeah.
They are enabling him to do what he's doing. Not only that, then you have the persons that just do not use, for lack of a term, common sense, because he's raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars he's raising that he will be able to use at his own discretion when he leaves office. His own discretion. He'll be able to use that money at his own discretion. And so some of the Republicans are afraid because they're saying that he's going to threaten to run again. And so those who are considering running for president next term, they're looking to have to challenge him, and they don't know whether or not that's going to be worth it. And so they're afraid because they don't know what he's going to do. And then there's some saying he may start a television show, another television show, or he may start a radio show, and he's going to stay out in front of the public. He's going to keep on pushing that he was done wrong. He's going to use that, and he's going to talk about them if they don't support his efforts and all of that. They are terribly afraid of him.
Yeah.
They need to get together and shut him down. But they won't do it, Dr. Davis.
No, sir. Only God can do it. His day coming. His day coming.
The Bible speaks about the last days, men's hearts would wax cold.
Yep.
That's what the Bible speaks about. Daniel even talked about it when he said that there will come a day when they will try to change the laws.
That's right.
Suit them. And that's exactly what we find happening today.
That's
They're
right.
trying to change the laws to suit them. Well, I don't know, Dr. Davis. The song says, everywhere I turn or everywhere I look, there's trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble to the left, trouble to the right. All we have to do is to trust in the good Lord, because he promised he would be there for us. He promised that he would look out for us. He promised, Dr. Davis, that we could count on him. He promised that whenever we needed him, he would be there for us. And I don't know about you, but that's what I'm counting on. Counting on him being there for us.
Well, he's going to be there. God's going to show up. He's going to show up. And that's why I'm saying what's going to happen with Trump, once again, all that stuff he's talking about doing, and all those people that supporting him and what have you, for them to run in 2024, like Ted Cruz and all those other guys who won't stand up to this man, that's going to be held against them, because they're going to say, you let this man run amok and you didn't stand up and stop him.
Well, Dr. Davis, all I can say is God help us.
Yeah.
Until next week, stay safe, stay positive, stay strong, stay prayed up, continue to trust in the Master. He promised he'd never leave us, nor would he forsake us. Till next week. We'll always be here to talk about it.